I know a lot of you have been commenting and you guys have been missing tilts, right? It's been a minute because we've just been crushing it in the preseason, actually avoiding horrific variance for the first time in 27 years. Well, been missing the tilts. We're going to enjoy this video tonight. Oh boy, we got a lot tonight. I mean, a lot to talk about. Before we do get into that though, welcome guys. My name is DK. We'll be talking about the 6-game NBA preseason slate in this video. Before we do, obviously, we have to recap and tilting about a lot of stuff, specifically a couple of coaches. Yeah, I cover content for NFL, NBA DFS, NFL, NBA DFS, as well as PrizePicks, Underdog, Parlay Play. If you guys are not in Parlay Play, you can use the link down below for your $100 deposit match bonus, or you can use the code DKDFS. And if you guys are looking for more in-depth content, check my Patreon link down below, DFS or for prop stuff. Absolutely killed it in the prop department. I've just three brutal hooks already tonight, preventing another huge night, which we'll also talk about. So let's just gander over here. Couple coaches, huh? Now I talk about this all the time, right? It is the preseason with absolutely, and I mean absolutely nothing to gain from lying, right? Absolutely nothing. Pop says the plan is to get a look at something approaching a regular season rotation over the final two preseason. Regular rotation. See Victor Wembanyama with 21 minutes. Okay. What? Couple games earlier? 23 minutes for Wembanyama. So, regular rotation goes less minutes. We got popped. First time getting popped this year. First of many times, I'm sure. Again, Popovich, just retire, dude. Just retire. What are you thinking, right? Cannot say that and then play the starters less minutes. We got popped. Oh boy, we're not even close to done. Not even close. So get your popcorn out, all right? Thomas Thibodeau. Regular rotation for the Knicks. They're running a regular rotation. Brunson gets subbed out early in the third quarter. All I need is to come back, right? I need 2 PRA. No way. He's done. Another lie from Thibodeau to hook me out of $300. Want to talk about a couple other hooks tonight? I had Cam Thomas over 14.5 points. Finished with 14 points. 3 of 15 shooting. I had Bam Adebayo. I took his over 15.5 points once we got the Heat news. 6 of 15 shooting and done at half. Then I had one in WNBA too. I took Breanna Stewart over 17.5 shot attempts. Finishes with 17 shot attempts because she shot 3 of 17. I'm so upset right now. I'm so mad. And this one, man. I mean, come on. Ime Udoka said pregame the plan is to shut down a few guys at half and to take a look at second and third unit guys. So I see that quote. I instantly take unders on Jabari Smith and Şengün rebounds. Now, luckily, that still hit, right? But I know a lot of people either took PRA or points and got punished because Jabari Smith went over his PRA and points. So if you took either of those under, I mean, I feel so incredibly bad for you because you were sharp, you were on top of the news, and you got trolled by Udoka. So if you took Jabari Smith over PRA, if you took Jabari Smith under PRA or under points, that is just so incredibly unlucky. And I would be so mad if I were you. Again, I luckily took unders on the rebounds. That hit them both, but I can't even. I would be so upset if I had that. But again, just another lie. We got 3 lies here from Coach. And again, all the hooks too for underdog as well, and player props. 4 hooks already, and the night's not even over. Oh. I know you guys have been missing the tilting, so there it is. Got popped. Udoka lies again, and Tom Thibodeau with the troll. Brunson also shot awful. Come on. Oh, I literally totally forgot about this. DFS, I played Josh Richardson, injured right away. He's done. My night's over. Immediately to the showdown lobby. Do all this work all day long. Feel really good about my lineup. Everyone else smashing. I had pool. It was a pool party. People, like half the field faded him. I was looking great. Doesn't matter. My night's over. And the first 5 minutes, Josh Richardson injured. All that work, just again, money. Pile my money on a shovel. Incinerate it right into the fire. For absolutely no reason. Just get punished with horrific luck. So there it is. There's the tilt. I am very upset. We got coaches lying. We got injuries. We got an incredible amount of hooks. So, forgettable night. I'm so mad. So mad. All right, let's talk about the slate, though. Enough of that. So, this is the last preseason game for all but one of these teams. Pistons are the only team that plays again on Friday. Now, I was trying to look for Pistons news. Monty Williams says he may change up the rotations a bit for the final 2 preseason games. No Bojan and no Monte Morris. So we'll monitor the status there with the Pistons. Every other team, though, I'm assuming is going to run close to a dress rehearsal. So I think a fair guess for all these other teams' starters minutes are going to be high 20s, some maybe even to the low 30s. So that is my assumption unless we hear otherwise tomorrow, which we might. Again, all that will be posted over on Patreon when we get news. But that is my assumption. Probably high 20s minutes for all these team starters unless we hear otherwise. All right, so let's start. So this is kind of like a normal regular season slate, right? So we'll start off with Boston. You got Tatum at 10-2, Brown at 8-7, Porzingis at 7-9, Drew Holiday 6-9, Derek White at 5.8K, Al Horford 4-4. I think my favorite of the spend-ups probably would be Porzingis. He should be able to feast against the likes of like Mark Williams and Nick Richards. So I do like Porzingis quite a bit. Of Tatum and Brown, I think they both look pretty similar. It's a great matchup for both. We know the Hornets do not play defense. Drew Holiday, Derek White, totally reasonable options. I wouldn't call either a priority, but they should play a ton tomorrow. And then Al Horford. It's not an exciting play. You're never going to feel great about playing Al Horford, but he's cheap and he should see good minutes. So I like all the Celtics main guys. I think you can make the argument for Pritchard, but he won't play as much as he was earlier in the preseason. So great spot here for the Celtics. Move on to the Hornets. So the Hornets, I like the price points on the 2 guards here, LaMelo and Rozier. LaMelo especially, 8.2K for LaMelo Ball. They've somewhat taken it easy on his minutes last game. He played 24 minutes, 16 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals. We know he just stuffs the stat sheet, and I'm expecting high 20s minutes from LaMelo, maybe even low 30s. So I think LaMelo is one of my favorite spend-ups on the board at the moment. Rozier, totally fine, will come in much less ownership. I prefer LaMelo, but I do think Rozier's totally in play. Gordon Hayward has missed the last couple games. He returned to practice. Sounds like he'll be available. We'll keep an eye on that. If he is, you most likely get the rookie Brandon Miller moving to the bench. Either way, I think Brandon Miller is too expensive. PJ Washington at 6'6". He had a huge game. What was it, last game at 31 points? I'll let the Fish chase that. I would much rather go down to these cheap bigs in Mark Williams and Nick Richards, who I expect to split the center position. I think both are really good values. 4.5K for Mark Williams, 4.2K for Nick Richards. I'm really high on both. And then we'll keep an eye on the status of some of these other guys. If a lot of these other guards are out, Frank Ntilikina's been playing the backup point guard position. He's the flat min price, and he's got shooting guard small forward eligibility. So I would have some interest in him as well if you need another punt play. Minnesota and Chicago. So you got Ant, Cat, Gobert at the top. 7K for Gobert, 8.5 for Cat, 8.9 for Ant. I think Ant and Cat are the 2 main guys I'm looking to. No real strong takes, and we're trying to prefer between Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. I think both look pretty good. Gobert's fine, but again, I like the ceiling a lot more with Ant and with Karl-Anthony Towns. Slow-mo, Kyle Anderson and Mike Conley are kind of just there for me. Naz Reid, been playing him all preseason long. I mean, I expect high teens minutes from him. I think he's once again a good value. I wouldn't call him a must play, but the faders have been severely punished every single slate. So yeah, we know how good of a point per minute guy Naz Reid is. McDaniels has missed the last couple games. He is going to be out for this game again, so I expect NAW to start. NAW 3.2K. If you played him last slate, you got so incredibly unlucky. You got massive foul trouble, 5 fouls for NAW, but I expect him to start, and I think he's a pretty good value. And then the only other guy I'll mention would be Shake Milton. Him, Naz Reid, going to kind of run the show in the second unit. So I think he is another viable tournament play there. Moving on to Chicago, I'm expecting a dress rehearsal based on the quotes from the beat writers here for the Bulls. So DeRozan, Vooch, LaVine, I think all pretty safe plays. They're all basically the same price. I don't have any super strong takes. I do think, once again, Vooch probably has the highest floor with the peripheral stats, but LaVine, DeRozan, we know that both those guys have a ceiling. It was LaVine that had the big game last game. DeRozan kind of struggled. So all three of the main Bulls I like. I'll mention Drummond too. So Drummond played 18 minutes. Vooch played 28 or what. They basically split the 48 minutes combined, and we know how good of a point per minute guy Drummond is. So, I mean, if Vooch plays like 30 minutes and Drummond gets the rest, then I think he's a pretty interesting value play. Kobe White's fine at 5-1. Pat Williams saw limited minutes. They went to Torrey Craig a lot. So it'll be interesting to see if they switch the starting lineup and possibly go to Torrey Craig. But whoever starts at the wing position for the Bulls, I would have a little bit of interest in. Detroit, Oklahoma City. So a couple things to monitor. Cade Cunningham expected to be back. Jalen Duren missed last game. I think he'll be back for this one, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. Again, I don't know what the Pistons are doing exactly here. So with the top-end guys, Cade, Stewart, Thompson, I mean, I think Cade would be my favorite option if you have the salary for him. Value-wise, there's some interesting values. If Duren plays, I like Duren. If Duren misses, then guys like Bagley and Wiseman would benefit. Both would be good values there. And then I kind of like Jaden Ivey at 5K coming off the bench. He's kind of going to play that high-usage second-unit guy. So I think he is also a pretty solid play. And then Thompson has been playing big minutes in the preseason. I think he's reasonable too. For the Thunder, so starters didn't see huge minutes last game, so I'm expecting these guys to play into the fourth quarter. With that being said, I mean, I like all the main guys for Oklahoma City. SGA, Chet, Giddey, Jalen Williams, Dort. I think factoring in salary, that Jalen Williams and Giddey are probably my favorite options. But if you have the salary for Chet or SGA, I'm not going to talk you off them. We know the ceiling on SGA. Chet is the guy that has played really well in the Summer League and has played well in the preseason as well. Giddey just has that high floor, and then Jalen Williams has been super aggressive looking for a shot. So that's why I think those two are my favorite plays in the Thunder. Lu Dort's fine. He'll have pop-off games here and there, but he's pretty reliant on the scoring. If I had to play someone off the bench, I think it probably would be Ousmane Dieng, 3.5K. I expect decent minutes for him, so I do think he is a solid punt play. Suns and Lakers, we got confirmation from the Suns that the starters will play into the second half. Now, I think this game is the game that you probably see the least minutes from the starters. I think low to mid-20s for the Suns and probably the same for the Lakers, just because both these teams have a lot of veterans. KD, on the opposite side, you get Anthony Davis and LeBron. So I could see this game probably the main guy seeing the least minutes of anyone on the slate tomorrow. But even though, with that being said, KD, Booker, again, with confirmation that they are playing in the second half against the Lakers, I think you have to still have some interest in them. Beal is fine. I think I'd rather just take the shot, though, in either KD or Booker. My boy Nurkic, as long as he's in, I think he's a reasonable option as well. He destroyed Ayton a couple games ago when they played. Probably can't get to much value here from the Suns, just because, when the big three are out there, we know where the offense is coming from. For the Lakers, I expect everyone to be available here. Now, again, with that being said, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, I think probably only see mid-20s minutes. So they're both fine options. I think I would prefer Anthony Davis to LeBron James. D'Angelo Russell, again, the one time I finally buy in with half the team out, done at halftime for absolutely no reason, and a bust. So tilting. I think he's okay. I don't really know if I like a lot of the Lakers' value. Reeves is fine, Rui's fine, but I expect the Lakers to play everyone tomorrow. Utah and the Kings. So for the Jazz, starters making decent minutes. Again, I think there's a chance that they play into the fourth quarter here. Looking at the top-end guys, Lauri Markkanen, 9-1. No real strong takes on him. He's their clear top option. Clarkson feels a little bit pricey, but if he starts again, I think he'd be viable. Walker Kessler, I think, would probably be my favorite point per dollar play. 5.6K. Probably sees, again, mid to high 20s minutes. So I do like him. And then I'm curious to see what they do with the starting lineup. They've been changing things up with the guys like THT and Sexton and Clarkston. So curious to see where they go. I'll mention my boy Keontae George has played well off the bench. He's cheap. I think he is a viable value there. All right, the Kings. So the Kings are on the second half of a back-to-back, so I'm very curious to see what they do. I think seeing what the minutes are like tonight is going to be a very good indication. If the Kings see limited minutes tonight, then I think they're going to see good minutes tomorrow. If they play a lot tonight, then I'm a little bit worried about their minutes tomorrow. And I think the Kings could possibly rest guys if the starters play a lot tonight. The game is going on right now as I'm making this video. So again, what I want to do with the Kings really depends on what happens tonight. But if we get confirmation the starters are seeing normal minutes, then it's Fox and it's Sabonis. And I give the edge to Sabonis over Fox. Has the much higher floor. Both have a similar ceiling. No real strong takes on the other starters. Herter, Murray, and Barnes are always just there for me. You know, usually one of these three guys has a decent game, but I always have a tough time picking between these guys. And usually on bigger slates like this, they're guys I just avoid. Monk would be a little bit interesting off the bench just because, you know, he's going to come off the bench and chuck. And he is a guy that does have a ceiling, but also a very, very low floor. JaVale McGee's 3.4K. He should play the backup big position. I actually do think he's a little bit interesting. Over a fantasy point per minute guy. If you need a punt play, I think he is certainly in play. Finally, Denver. So Denver rested all their starters. Again, we came to that conclusion the other night by looking at the Vegas odds. I saw it opened up with the Clippers being like 4.5 point favorites. It got bet all the way to 7.5. So, yeah, the starters did end up sitting there too. I expect them to be back here, and I expect them to see mid-20s minutes. That being said, I think Nikola Jokic stands out as one of the better spin-ups on the board. 10.3K for him. I really like Jokic. Murray, Gordon, MPJ, kind of just there for me. Like I said, I'm not going to prioritize any of these guys. KCP's fine. If you need value, that's okay. Again, he's score independent, but you know he can get you there. If I had to play someone off the bench, maybe a little bit of interest in a guy like Peyton Watson at 4.3K. Maybe a little bit of interest in a guy like Reggie Jackson at 4.2, who should play the backup point guard position. So a little bit of interest in Reggie, a little bit of interest in Peyton Watson. Finally, the Clippers. So Clippers also lied last game. They said they're going to slowly increase the minutes of the main guys. Main guys were shut down at halftime for like the third straight game. Pretty sure they will play into the third quarter here. So that being said, Paul George, Kawhi, Westbrook, all reasonable options. I think Kawhi would be my favorite option, point per dollar of the three. Ivica Zubac, 5.6K, I think is a pretty decent value play as long as he can stay out of foul trouble. Off the bench, you have guys like Powell, Bones Highland. I think both are reasonable options. I think I would give the edge to Bones Highland, who's just going to shoot when he's out there. Also, a revenge game against his former team. And then we'll keep an eye on who they start at the 4. They've been swapping between Covington and Mann and Batum. So over starts, I would have a little bit of interest in that wing. But again, whoever does start, they're going to be a low usage player. Okay, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for the video. Frustrating night, very tilting night. We just got hooks, we got trolls by coaches, and we got an injury. Woo, yay, NBA DFS. But I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.